Hi, I'm Dr. James Chestnut, and I am the developer of the Innate Choice supplement system. What I want to share with you now is why Innate Choice Probiotic Sufficiency is your best choice for a probiotic supplement. And I'll take you a little bit through some of the research I did in order to come up with the product, because I think it's very important to understand that once we've established that probiotics are essential for human beings to be well, and once we've established that we can't get them in our diet and we need a supplement, there's another step we have to take, and that is what specific strains of probiotic bacteria do we require, what's the best way to deliver them, what's the best source of them in terms of the foodstuffs that they're grown on. And I think that really does separate the high quality most beneficial probiotics from those which are quite inexpensive to produce and which aren't going to give you a whole lot of benefit. Let me start by saying this, that most of the probiotics offered out there are not 100% vegetarian sourced. Most of them are dairy sourced. Many of you have probably heard of acidophilus and some of the other things that are now, I see the dairy products and yogurts are bragging that they have these bacteria, but the truth is that any bacteria grown on dairy is not part of the human normal flora. Let me explain why. The normal flora for humans has been established long before we ever domesticated animals. We've only domesticated animals about 10,000 years ago, maybe less, maybe 8,000. And so we were not consuming dairy products or the milk from another mammal at all when our normal flora when we became genetically the way we are now, which is about 10 to 12,000 years ago. We did not have a normal flora that was established to, remember now, our genes, the things that we ingest must be matched to our genetic blueprint in order to produce the best results. So our genetic blueprint is not matched to dairy or anything that comes from a cow, and also not from things that come from grains, because we also weren't agricultural at the time that our genes became basically, I'll say set, because of course we're always continuing to change a little bit, but basically the way your genes are now are identical to the way your ancestor genes would have been about 10 to 12,000 years ago. So any probiotic that is produced on dairy or wheat or soy or any of those things is not normal flora. Those things will ferment. You can get bacteria, but they are not the strains. They even sometimes have the same name. Probiotic bacteria can have even acidophilus. There are so many different strains of acidophilus. It can be quite confusing. And I've been looking into it for a decade or so, and it's still confusing. But one of the things I want to do with my research, and again, you will be able to see a lot of that research in the brochure and also on the website. You can go to that, and I think it's important for you to do that, because I want you to be an informed consumer. And so that's one of the great things I believe that we do at Innate Choice, is that we want to give you the best education we can to empower you to make the right decision. So one of the research is, I think, probably one of the most renowned researchers in this area is Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride, who is a medical doctor who has a master's of public health and neurology, and she's got more degrees than I can list. But anyway, she talks a lot about the importance of probiotics in terms of brain function and how it's related to kids who have developmental and learning problems. And she's just done some fantastic work in this area. But one of the things she's most adamant about is that we need to have a multi-strain probiotic formula. In other words, it can't just be one or two strains. It has to be a multi-strain, which best mimics the way that our natural normal flora would have been for our ancestors, what we're genetically designed to have. So that's exactly what I did for the Innate Choice probiotic, which is it's a multi-strain probiotic. It's 100% vegetarian. It's dairy, wheat, and soy free. And it's based on the strains of bacteria that have been identified in the research as the ones that are most important for the health of our intestinal normal flora. So again, I know it can be, nutrition is one of probably the most confusing things in terms of both doctors and patients. So I'm trying to simplify this the best way I can, but just let me just summarize and say this. We know for sure that probiotics are an absolute requirement for humans to be healthy. We need them for our immunity. We need them to produce short-chain fatty acids. We need them to produce vitamins, and we need them also in terms of protection for the gut-brain association, which I'm going to allow you to read Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride about that. The other thing we know is we can't get them from our diet. We know that we consume now 1/1,000,000th of the bacteria of our ancestors. We also know that even once we've established that normal flora, that the turnover rate is quite high, so we have to supplement. Everybody has to supplement every day for life. there's that innate choice motto. And again, another supplement product which is congruent with our philosophy. And then the other thing we know is that we have to mimic the right strains of bacteria that we would have eaten, that our ancestors would have eaten. In other words, that our genes require. You can't just consume any bacteria and assume it's going to be healthy for you. And again, so the bacteria that we need to consume are the bacteria from the types of foods that we've traditionally always eaten. And dairy, soy, and wheat are not those foods. You'll perhaps learn more about that in future videos. So thank you for your attention.